Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, Agriculture Department says the African Swine Fever is contained.
Hindi po pwedeng walang managot. Kailangan mayroon para hindi na maulit.
Following outbreaks in some areas in Luzon.
Ang problema kasi, dun sa ground zeros, dun sa earlier affected areas, may ang daming nagtago. Ang hirap talaga.
Some groups are now calling a ban on pork imports.
The only way to save the whole industry, ang mga may sakit o mga nahawa na baboy, sila ay ihiwalay na.
And how should government address the impact on the hog industry? House Committee Chairman on Agriculture, Quezon Representative Wilfrido Enverga, joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. The Agriculture Department insists that the outbreaks of African swine fever in Bulacan and Rizal areas are under control and it cannot be considered as an epidemic yet. The DA warns the public not to ignite fear on the African swine fever cases as it may impact and cause irreversible damage to the hog industry. How should lawmakers step in and address the African swine fever outbreak? Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have House Agriculture Committee Chairman and Quezon 1st District Representative Wilfrido Enverga. Congressman, good to meet you.
Hi, thank you, Pinky, for having me here in your show.
It's your first time
Yes.
on the show. Very apt, sir, because the African swine fever already present in some parts of Luzon. What is Congress doing right now? Is there a plan? Because there is a probe to look into this, sir.
Yes, actually, Congressman Argel Kabatbat filed an inquiry in aid of legislation. So we will discuss this in the coming weeks. We are on the budget hearing at this point, and I think soon we will be hearing the issue on AFS.
A probe on the AFS.
Yes.
Sir, so let's talk about the budget first and foremost.
Yes.
Because from my understanding, you had a hearing with members of the DA yesterday.
Yes, that's
is
correct.
that so,
Yes.
sir? And there's supposed to be a budget of about 333 billion pesos for 2020, for next year, obviously.
Yes.
But it's been slashed to a third?
Yes. Well, actually, the proposal of Secretary Darrow is 150 billion to make things work for the agriculture sector. But it was slashed to about 50 billion at this point. So
one-third pa rin?
One-third,
Okay.
yes. So particularly concerning to us at this point regarding AFS is the slash of the National Livestock Program budget by more than about 20%.
Can you tell us more about that? I mean, what
Yes.
is our understanding of a National Livestock Project?
Well, it encompasses several bureaus, but I think issues with the AFS at this point would be prevention and control of other economically important diseases, slashed by about more than half,
Also.
from 98 million to 40 million. Also, the strengthening of diagnostic and biological infrastructure services, same, from 12 million to 0 for 2020. So these are things that we want Congress to look into and to get the support of our members to augment the budget for the National Livestock Program.
And there is a need, as chair of the Agriculture Committee, sir, to augment the budget of the Agriculture Department?
Well, actually, this falls into the Appropriations Committee.
Yes.
Of course, we are thankful that the Speaker, Speaker Alan Cayetano, had voiced out his full support for the augmentation for the entire budget of the Department of Agriculture. But of course, we will we'll take the lead from the Department of Agriculture with regards to particularly how they want their budget to be augmented given the current conditions of the agricultural sector.
Yeah, because, we're not just talking about ASF or the
Yes, that's right.
African Swine Fever. Marami pa rin po yung pag-uusapan.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that a little later on in the program. But right now, offhand, Congressman, what do you think Congress needs to do with regards to the possible probe that will happen next week? Saan ho kayo siguro dapat tumutok?
Well, for now, I think we are closely monitoring what DA is doing with regards to their 1710 protocol, how they're dealing with the issue. Of course, we do not want this to spread into the other islands of the country.
Correct.
So at least we want to gauge how we want to see how they'll be able to cope with the containment of the ASF in the certain areas at this point.
When you look at reports, though, Congressman, there are already border controls. LGUs are
Yes.
actually spearheading
Yes.
this. Border control meaning sa kalsada pa lamang, meron ng mga checkpoint para hindi makapasok. For example, possible pigs that may
Yes,
be
yes.
infected with the ASF or the African swine fever. Pero maliban po doon, the problem that we're seeing is, for example, sir, let's talk about areas in Rodriguez Rizal and in Bulacan and even in Antipolo. Marikina, for example, the river there, inanod po yung mga baboy
Yes,
doon. From
yes.
last count, there are about less than 60 mga baboy na supposed to be infected with ASF na inanod. Yun po ang isa sa problema because you can
Yes.
have border controls, but what kind of control can you have sa mga ilog or sa mga rivers?
Well, I think the LGU will have to step up also their efforts. I think they will have to monitor and at least get to know where backyard hog raisers are in the area. So I think it's very much vital for them to really check and inventory the stock of pigs in their areas. And in order for them to see and at least add personnel to check the borders as well.
Because sila din naman pong nakakalaman yan, especially yung mga barangay captains.
Yes, that is correct.
Na normally, kapartido naman ng mga LGUs, or if hindi man kapartido dati, kapartido na ngayon. I mean,
Yes,
there has to be
yes.
some sort of a concerted
Yes,
effort
yes,
among
that's
members
right.
of the local government officials. So, just going back to Congress, so a probe possibly next week, because you're busy right now with,
Yes, with the
the
budget.
budget,
Yes.
kaya hindi masyadong matutukan muna yung probe. Containing this, and what else, sir? What offhand, ano hong naiisip nyo na dapat mag-focus ang committee ninyo on
Well,
the African
personally,
swine fever?
I have had the chance to dialogue with the hog raisers industry.
Okay.
One concern, I think, which is key at this point, would be the concern of having local vets in municipalities. Currently, there are only 44 of the 1,498 municipalities that have veterinarians in their municipalities.
44?
44
Out
only.
of 1,400?
1,498.
Wow, okay.
So I think 1,489, I'm sorry, municipalities in the country. So I think it starts at this point, at the municipality level. I think vets are very much important in the area as far as checking and knowing where the backyard and contract growing hog raisers are. And at least there should be consistent monitoring in that area.
Good point. At least that's something
Yes.
that you know and we know right now, that that is such a small percentage out of the 1,400, or let's put it 1,500 almost municipalities, 44 lamang.
Yes.
That's what, I don't know, sir, 3%
Yes.
of the total?
But I'd just like to clarify, Pinky, that under the local government code, those that are mandated to provide veterinarians in their localities are provinces and cities only.
I
So I think
see.
amendments to the law would be very much vital here.
So it's not mandated that every municipality has to have
Yes, yes.
a vet, no?
So I think for now, that's what I personally can see with regards to the Philippine Veterinarian Association of the Philippines have mentioned also to me.
When you spoke to members of the DA, sir, what did they say was possibly the biggest challenge talking about African swine fever?
Well, I think it's still the same, the gap being a devolved agency in the local governments. I think that gap of having to monitor, it would be impossible for BAI to monitor the entire country. So I think the part of the local governments are very much crucial in terms of not only for ASF for now, there could be an evolvement of different diseases that may come into the country as well.
And even during, even before we went on air, Congressman Enverga and I were talking about, what's happening right now, because there are possibly suspected hog raisers who, dapat ho kasi where it is positive ang ASF, within a 1-kilometer radius, dapat po
Yes.
papatayin na yung mga baboy
Yes,
in that
that's correct.
area. So what happens is may iba ho siguro, what is suspected, tinatapon yung kanilang baboy, inaanod sa, dinadala po sa mga ilog. And a point you raised, sir, was very good because right now, wala namang, wala namang epekto yan sa tao.
Yes.
Pero yun pong sigurong pag-iisip na the action of actually just throwing these pigs into the river
Right.
is already very definitely irresponsible.
Yes, but looking at the Animal Welfare Act, and I think what was raised by the Department of Agriculture, there has been violation on that aspect, as well as violation on solid waste management. Looking at the penalties with regards to this law, I think you can either pay or face
You would be
imprisonment
fined,
from,
yeah.
I think 6 months to 2 years. But if ever, I think we should create a law offhand on my end. I think we should somehow have an Animal Disease Act, probably. It was recommended by the Food and Agriculture Organization, wherein we should put protocols by legislation with regards to how to deal with disposing infected animals.
Right.
So these are
Maybe
things
that's one
offhand,
thing
yes.
that possibly could be done. Talking about Marikina, there is, of course, a reward that the mayor, I believe, has put up. I think it's 200,000 pesos for anyone who can point to those responsible for those pigs nga na inano doon sa Marikina River. In fact, they plan to file a writ of kalikasan. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. The city government of Marikina is offering a 200,000 peso reward to those who can give any information on those behind the dumping of dead pigs in the Marikina River. Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro said that these individuals will face criminal and civil cases once they are captured by authorities. At least 58 dead pigs were seen floating in the river at the height of the African Swine Fever outbreak. Teodoro adds that they will file a writ of kalikasan, a legal remedy in protecting the environment at the Marikina Regional Trial Court. Let's go straight to the source of this story. We have on the line Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro. Mayor, welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Pinky.
Sir, what is the update so far? Kasi ang alam po namin, 58 were seen floating dito po sa Marikina River. Has there been any update on this? Meron po hubang nakita in the past day or hour, sir?
That is correct, Pinky. We found 58 up to this date. 58 carcasses floating in Marikina River. Ang tingin ko nangyari nung in-announce natin na hinahanap natin yung culprit or those who are responsible in the dumping of these bodies of dead pigs in Marikina River. Actually, hindi sa Marikina River ito na-dump eh. We believe that it is being dumped upstream in Rizal. It just floated and it was carried away by the current upstream. Marikina River is a downstream river. Wala na namang nakita muli tayo. Siguro natakot and they refrain from doing it.
Yeah.
Lalo na nang nag-offer tayo ng reward na 200,000 pesos sa makakapagturo.
Meron na hubang leads on this, sir?
Yes, Pinky, I could say now that we have a solid lead now on who are responsible in dumping this carcasses into the river. And we are preparing now a case against them.
Them?
Yes, hindi ginawa ng isang tao lang eh. Marami kasi given the number of dead pigs that we found in Marikina River. And maliban dito, Pinky, marami pa rin na pinaniniwalaan namin na hindi na nakalutang at talubog na o kaya pinaon sa riverside. That can be also considered as dumping because
Are we looking... Mayor,
Yeah.
yung sinasabi niyo you're filing cases, are these backyard piggeries? Ano ho ba, what is the information you have so far?
The information we had is that merong mga involved in backyard piggery, hog racing. Meron din naman mga commercial racing ang ginagawa. Medyo hindi naman malaki pero it can be considered a small scale to medium scale
I see.
hog racing.
But let me confirm this, sir. Definitely galing po sa Rizal.
The Department of Agriculture confirmed this information that they found carcasses floating in that area, in the river in that area. Saka yung accounts by ng mga tao na nagsasabi sa amin, doon yun ang sinasabi. Plus, we put up a 24-hour monitoring unit so that we could really trace the source of these carcasses. At kami rin, ako mismo personally, I led a search party, water search party, para nakita namin talagang inaanad upstream during the height of the time that na inaanod sila. Kasi it happened within a period of 6 days, hindi lang isang beses.
Yeah, but Mayor, if you're saying that you're going to file cases against some backyard piggeries and some small commercial ones, sir, are they located in Rizal, sir?
The piggery, yes.
Okay.
Yes, located in that area.
Sir, also just to be clear, yung pong mga inanod na mga baboy, is it positive already sa African swine fever?
Yes. We had them tested. We nagkuha kami ng blood and tissue sample. However, it will take some time before the Department of Agriculture can provide us with the results. They're still confirming whether indeed they are infected with the African swine fever, African swine fever virus. Sabi nila swine to swine lang, hindi nakakahawa sa tao. Pero the bacterial pathogens from a dead body of pigs floating in the river, we could but suppose na marami ka rin namang ibang sakit pang makukuha dito. Kaya we consider these carcasses as health hazard to our residents.
And because of that, sir, hindi ho ba kung nagpakuha na rin kayo ng water sample?
Yes,
and also,
correct.
may isda din po, di ba? Meron din pong to check on the effect of this on the fish?
Yan, on the health of the fish in the area. Tumuha kami ng water sample because Marikina River is a Class C river, meaning the river system in Marikina can be used for recreational purposes. Biologically alike, it could support aquatic life. Yung biochemical oxygen density of the water in the Marikina River can support aquatic life. So we believe that it's being contaminated because of these carcasses dumped in the river.
Okay.
So I ordered a ban on water-related
Activities.
Yeah. In order to be safe, is as a precautionary measure.
Right.
We're waiting for the result from the Laguna Lake Development Authority because they are the competent authority to do the testing. Since Marikina River is a tributary to Laguna Lake.
I see.
At sila yung authority na gumagawa nito and with the competency to do so.
Just
So,
very-
hinintay namin, we're 4 days na lang daw. They could provide us with the result.
Okay, so
Tapos
possibly
yung European
Monday.
Series, yes, hopefully Monday.
Opo.
Kasi marami kaming mga, lalo na pag weekend, recreational area kasi itong
That's right,
riverside
yeah.
namin. Ang daming tao rito, not only residents of Marikina, pero nearby cities, Quezon City, Pasig, pupunta rito, do their morning exercises, they have picnics with the family. So, yung pati affected Because sabi nga nila kung may virus ng ASF yung we also had the water check for ASF virus or contamination at it.
Opo. Very quickly, sir, how many cases and when do you plan to file these, sir?
We
Dun sa mga-
intend to, we're in the process of gathering information and preparing our complaint this week, and we are hoping that we could file it by next week.
By next week. Okay.
Aside from the civil and criminal cases that we'll be filing, we will be petitioning the court for a writ of kalikasan.
That's right.
This is a legal remedy available under our Philippine law. The idea of this writ of kalikasan is to enjoin or direct any personal government agency, not only private individuals, as well as government agencies, to perform or desist from performing an act in order to protect, preserve, rehabilitate, or restore the environment. Bawat isa, Pinky, malinaw naman nasa Constitution yun. We have the constitutional rights over balanced and healthful ecology. And meron tayong lumabas ng writ of kalikasan, yung writ ng Manila Bay. Kaya tayo lahat ngayon, we are enjoined to not only to preserve, but to rehabilitate.
Thank you to Marikina Mayor Marcy Itiodoro. Maraming salamat po sa inyo, sir.
Thank you. Mabuhay ka.
Thank you, and we'll be taking a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, House Agriculture Committee Chairman Mark Enverga. Okay, Congressman, just a quick reaction doon sa situation sa Marikina. At least they're doing everything they can to be able to contain and prosecute those responsible.
Yes, I'd like to commend Mayor Marcy Chodoro for being proactive with regards to dealing with the issue. I understand this predicament at this point. It's very difficult, but I think the national government will have to at least give out their support also. The Department of Agriculture should also work together with the local government of Marikina and the other concerned municipalities as well.
So when the Department of Agriculture, when you met with them yesterday during the budget hearing, sir, did they say that the problem is contained? What were the words they used?
Well, at this point, they are on top of things. I think they clarified that yesterday. And they are considerably looking into the other possible areas where it could be contaminated as well. And I think they're doing well at this point. It's contained in one certain area.
Saan ho yung sinabi nilang areas?
Well, of course, it's Rodriguez Rizal, which I think they've already disinfected. Same with Giginto, Bulacan, Antipolo as well. And I think they have mentioned the previous week that they are monitoring another possible area of concern. And I think they're constantly doing tests with regards to this. So I think they're doing well at this point.
Okay. What other things? Because when you talked about the Animal Disease Act, sir, you want to be able to possibly put this forward, or ano ba? What else should be included in this bill or possible bill?
Well, I think as we've seen with the case of Marikina, I think disposal, penalties with regards to disposal of animals with infectious diseases.
Wala ba hong ganun ngayon?
At this point, wala. I've tried to look for one. What we have is, I think, with the creation of BAI only, Pambansang Batas, I think, during the 1980s, 87, if I'm not mistaken. It's only for vaccination. So as far as our researchers are concerned, that's the only thing, the only remedies we have at this point. And it's, I think, high time for us to deal with the current situation where diseases are evolving and being much more difficult at this point.
And there should be penalties, stiff
penalties. Yes, most definitely.
Imposed. Okay, I'm just going to move to other things very quickly, sir. So, Agriculture Committee Chair, what are the priorities you feel that the DA needs to focus on? Let's set aside the African swine fever for now, because there's a lot of other things that they need to prioritize, sir.
Well, of course, the issue on the rice tariffication law, I think Secretary Dar has already moved in order to protect our farmers. I think he's raised his safeguard measures authority and power to at least levy additional taxation for importers to protect our farmers.
Our local
but we yet have to get a copy of his letter to the WTO. And of course, that's 200 days wherein it would be up to the Tariff Commission to see if it's justified or should be prolonged in the future, as well as the dropping prices of copra. I think coconut being one of the top exports of the country, I think it's part of the Coco Levy Fund. So we'll be tackling that on Monday already, the issue on how to spend the Coco Levy Fund.
When we talk about rice, of course, obviously, sir, local rice farmers, the question really is number one, they're poorest of the poor. Sila nagtatrabaho, napakaliit ng kita nila, maapektuhan sila ng rice tariffication. Really, the issue is how to protect the local farmers, sir?
Well, given the new law, I think part of the law is the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. I think we will have to really ensure the implementation of this budget for these agencies to be given to the farmers. I think we really have to catch up, Pinky, with regards to agricultural competitiveness with our neighbors.
Kaya pa ba?
Well, I think probably on the assumption that we are given the chance, I think if the Tariff Commission does give us a chance to prolong the additional tariff that we can issue, I think it will be good for us, I think, to at least try to catch up. Probably 3 to 5 years would be a good timetable for us to be able to be competitive.
Well, all right. So still meetings on the budget with the DA and a possible probe. Well, possible also, sure na yung probe doon sa African Swine
Yes, that's correct.
Fever
Yes.
next week. So we'll continue to get more updates on this, sir, and we can only hope that the situation is already contained in the areas
Yes,
where
yes,
it is
we hope so.
positive for African Swine Fever. We'd like to thank House Agriculture Committee Chairman Mark Enverga. Sir, thank you. I
Thank
hope
you
this
very
won't
much.
be the last.
Pinky.
We'll see
yes,
you again.
thank you very much again.
Maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.